everyone, welcome to Two Car Pros. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to service a rear differential for a Ford F-150 between the years of 2011 and 2014. So there are two differential sizes, a 9.75 inch and an 8.8 inch. The process is exactly the same, but the gasket is different, and I've left both of those down below in the description. Also, you can put limited slip differential fluid in a non-limited slip and be perfectly fine, but you can't put non-limited slip fluid in a limited slip differential. It will destroy it. So long story short, just buy the limited slip stuff. It's already added in, and the link is down below in the description. This is a super easy job. You don't even need to lift the truck into the air at all. I've done plenty of these just laying on the ground perfectly fine. No jack or jack stands required. Just a couple of basic tools and drain pan. Just please dispose of your refuse oil properly. Any auto parts store should take it off your hands for free. With all out of the way, let's jump into it. So the first thing we're gonna do is move to the front of the differential. So here is the pinion. This is where the drive shaft actually comes in and feeds power to the differential. And while we're here is we're gonna take the drain plug out first. We're just gonna hose that down with WD-40 and let it sit for a couple of minutes. And then all you do is you take a 3/8 drive ratchet with no socket or anything, put it in there, and just loosen it on out. Honestly, this wasn't in super tight. I'm not worried about it being stuck at all. Admittedly, this truck isn't from anywhere that rusts. So we're gonna go ahead and clean this up. So at the back of the rear differential, the first thing we're gonna do here is pull off these little brake line mounts. They just mount onto the stud here, and you just pull them straight off. And I like to store them kind of back in a way so they don't get in my way later. And then what we're gonna do, and remember where these fasteners are, these three, because we need to put those three back where we found them. The rest of the bolts don't really matter. So grab a 13mm socket, and we're just gonna buzz those bolts off. And then at this juncture, I like to just put a bolt back, a couple threads on both sides, so the cover doesn't just plop off there and make a big old mess. And there's sealant on here, so it's not gonna just like fall off easily. We're gonna have to give it a little bit of persuasion. There we go. There she blows. There we go. And just let it drain on out. So now that the seal is essentially broken, we can go ahead and remove our bolts and then just start peeling away our cover, exposing our differential. And then what I do too is I take a clean terry towel and I just kind of reach in there and force as much fluid as I can out. You know, you don't have to get every last drop out. In fact, you won't, but you know, you want to get like at least 90% out. And there's just a little lip right there. You need to kind of wash out. Some people leave it. I'm not one of those people. I have to get out as much out as you can reasonably. And then just take a flat scraper and get all of the old sealer off there from the factory. I have a lot of people tell me that, oh, I shouldn't use sealer, shouldn't use RTV. Well, Ford disagrees because they used quite a lot. So just scrape all that off. I won't make you watch me do that all. So make sure this is nice and clean and has no residual sealer left on. And then we can take our diff cover itself and hose it down with some carburetor spray or solvent, or heck, even Windex or something. Just something to get all of this filthy dirt off. See that? You want that gone. So just clean all this out until it is nice and clean, till the whole thing looks basic like this. And then scrape this surface as well with the scraper, just like we did on the differential itself. And that will be looking really good and ready to be fitted with a gasket and reinstalled. So I went ahead and painted the differential cover. No, you don't have to do that. I just think it's gonna look extra snazzy when it's all done. Go ahead and flip that over. And then I'm gonna do one final cleaning on the flange surface with some carburetor spray or solvent, some sort of degreaser. The next thing I'm gonna do is take our good old friend Ultra Black RTV. Seriously, this stuff's the best thing in the world. And we're just gonna lay a small bead on the inside of the entire cover. Doesn't have to be enormous or anything, just something. You could even get away with just a little skin of RTV if you're using a gasket like we're doing, but if you're not using a gasket, I would lay a reasonably thick bead of RTV. There we go, and always go on the inside of the bolt holes. Don't go on the outside or else it won't work. Now for a gasket for today, I have this unit made by Felpro, and the link is located down below in the description for the 9-inch rear end. They made two for this year. They made an 8.8 and a 9-inch. The process is exactly the same for the 8.8-inch. You just have a different gasket. That's literally it. And of course, the link is located down below in the description. It goes on as long as the bolt hole lines up, and everything is looking very good. Actually goes this way. So the striations face down. It only goes on one way. I thought you could flip it and reverse it, but that's okay. That's why we put a little bit of RTV on there. A lot of people just rock the gasket, and that's totally fine, but I like to put RTV on there just as insurance, and then just line it up so the bolt holes all line up. And then since we already have some RTV on there, I'm just gonna give it a little skin. Give it a little skin of RTV as well. And don't worry if a little bit of RTV gets in the case. Trust me, the gears will chew it up into oblivion. And what is RTV made out of? Silicone. So it will be perfectly fine. And there you go. Our diff cover is now ready for the truck. So with this flange surface nice and clean and free from any old RTV or gaskets, we can go ahead and grab our pan that we're all ready, or cover. And what we're gonna do is put in a bolt kind of preloaded already, and then get it into position, kind of line up with the bolt, get the threads started, and then we can plonk down the other side. You don't want to move it too much because you can disturb the gasket underneath the cover. So at this point, we're going to grab another bolt and put it on the other side like that. And now it should stay. And you can move it around, you know, a little bit. Just try to avoid moving around a bunch. And then we're going to replace the ones with the stud. One goes right here. So one with the stud goes there as well. And then, well, looks like this top corner one. There we go. We replaced our 3s with the studs, and the rest are just regular bolts. So now what I'm going to do is just bring these down to touch. I'm not tightening them down at all. And just kind of go across as much as you can. So if you do one on one side, do one on the other side. That is looking really good. And then in accordance to the Ford Installer's Manual, the torque specification is 33 foot-pounds. If you don't have a torque wrench, I completely understand. Just like one arm tight, just kind of use your best judgment. And I'm just going to kind of repeat that pattern. .33 feels perfect, honestly. That is looking great. Now, before you go walking off, I would try it again. I'll see, I got a little more out of it. So just repeat that pattern. So now I've gone around for a second time. I'm gonna do it a third time. And the reason I'm doing that is because the gasket is gonna wanna squedge out a little bit. So you can see I'm getting a little bit more each time. I would do this 3 times. There we go, 3 times around, and now what we're gonna do is wait for the entire cure time of this RTV, and it varies RTV to RTV, so just read the instructions on your tube. So now we're back at our fill port, and this is the fluid I've selected for this particular job. It is Valvoline Full Synthetic 75W140, and it already contains the limited slip additive. This is super cool stuff, and the link is located down below in the description, and what makes it cool is it's in a squeezy bottle. If you've ever done this job before, you'll know how much of a pain in the butt it is. Look how fast that's going. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. I think the capacity for this differential is 2.2 quarts. So go ahead and put that in, but I'll show you the way that I've always filled up differentials. It's kind of the way everyone's done it, which is just to keep putting differential fluid in it until it starts coming out. So here I'm starting on my 3rd one. Still filling, still filling. So you know it's full when it starts just kind of gushing out. So I would say it probably took like 2.8 quarts would be my guess. So I've already cleaned off the fill port plug, and it has a little magnet on there. It had a little bit of metal, which is totally normal. Don't panic. Just clean it off, and we can replace that plug. There we go. And again, just a 3/8 drive from your ratchet's fine. The torque specification is 22 foot-pounds. But again, between you and me, you could probably just do like one between wrist and one arm tight and be fine. There you go, 22. It's not that much. And then we're just gonna hose this down with some solvent or carb spray, brake clean, Windex, anything that kind of gets the WD-40 and gear oil off this housing so we don't think that it's leaking if it's not. There you go, looks pretty good. And then of course, do not forget to put your brake line back on the studs. And they just push on. So that's how to service a rear differential for a 2011 to 2014 Ford F-150. This is really, really easy, something you can totally do on your own, in your driveway, in your garage, whatever. It's really simple. A dealership might charge you like $500 for this service, and this is really, really easy. It only took the gaskets $15, and I think the fluids like another $30. Really not a lot of money to do it on your own, and you don't even need a jack or jack stands like I said earlier. This service should be done like right around every 60,000 miles. Some people go to 100,000 miles thereabouts, but the more you change oil and service your vehicle, the longer it's going to be in service for. So I'd probably stick to that 60,000 mile mark. Thank you so very much for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting at all, please consider becoming a member down below. It's a direct way to help the channel out, and I really appreciate it. Otherwise, a subscription, like, and comment go a long way and help the channel out a bunch. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.